Welcome back to Total Spotfest. Coming back at you, the old school duo here. I am JJ. That is Jamie. We want to send our thoughts and prayers out to the Austin Reddick household. Dealing with the loss of a furry one, unfortunately, it's tough as hell. So, Austin, Heidi, our thoughts and prayers are with you. But
send them love. Send them love, ladies and gentlemen. Send them some love.
Send them love. Hit them up on Twitter. But hey, we are back, and thank you guys for putting up. Last week we just had a lot of things going on, personal things happening all over the place, left and right. So we have to cancel last week's, but we're back on that saddle again. Jamie, how the hell have you been, my man?
Pretty mid. Not even gonna lie. It's just been 2 weeks of just life. Lots and lots of little things. It's like death by 1,000 cuts, but I mean, there's still some positives in there too. So lots of good stuff. But
yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
that's good. JB says life as he logged onto his group call. I got to listen in a little bit about his life, and I will say once again, the best contraception ever is your friend's kids. I'm just like, nope, don't need, nope, ain't gotta worry about, nope, not my problem. Ooh.
Yeah. Audrey just did you a solid.
100%. So, all right, we're going to get back and we're going to talk about some wrestling here. So, we got a lot to get to tonight. So, why don't we just dive right into Dynamite? Because this was a go-home show in the truest of senses, my man.
They brought it home. They brought it home.
Okay, so
they brought it home.
First of all, we're going to get into the show here. We're going to go pretty much chronologically through the show here, just because there wasn't anything necessarily that stood out. But I felt like this is like, we've talked about this a lot, how terrible AEW was for the longest time, and then they started to get really good at it. But this just kind of felt like that classic go home show. We got a lot of like multi-person matches where it doesn't really affect, win or loss, which is such a good formula, right? And it's a good way to kind of just build overall hype for everything. Maybe because, I don't know, it was announced earlier today that you can now watch AEW pay-per-views in Bezos land. Did you see that
Prime
coming?
Video, baby. Prime Video.
Have you checked it? Have you looked into that yet? Is it going to be the same $50 still, or?
I don't know. Like, I just saw that it came on, so I was gonna look at it tonight or tomorrow. I assume. I don't think it'd be cheaper. I don't think it'd be more expensive either.
Well, it won't be more expensive for sure, but it would be nice, if you already have Prime Video, if it's like a little bit cheaper. That would be nice, but
yeah.
I mean, Bleacher Report had to live and die so that we could finally get Amazon Prime doing wrestling pay-per-views. Let's fucking go.
I'm not sad about it.
Right. I mean,
I'm not sad that they're dead either. Definitely not sad that they're dead.
100%. I mean, it's not on Max like the rest of the deal, but that's almost better, I think, in a way, right?
It will be eventually, but not yet.
Right.
That's what everybody says.
The world of streaming wrestling is going to come full circle, in the end. I mean, WWE's pretty much seamlessly mostly transitioned. I think the catalog's still not fully over yet, but eventually everything's going to be on Netflix and then everything AEW be on Max. But hey, I'll take this little Prime pacifier while it lasts. But so with that being said, you start off the show with MJF outside calling out Hangman. Are you in on the MJF Hangman feud they got going on?
Well, yeah. I think that's like a given for me, but of course I didn't want it now. I think I've gone on the record many times saying that they should have slow burned the shit out of this thing. But since they got lava hot now, I mean, it's solid. It's really solid right now. I like it. It's just I wish it was just.
But you want them to slow burn like 3/4 of their stuff until the summer.
Yeah, I wanted this to go all the way to the summer. I felt like if they did Double or Nothing with this, it'd been so perfect.
Yeah, this is too long. I mean, I hear what you're saying. Well, I mean, you what are you going to do? You keep these two in a feud for that long, or do you want to put it off and then come back to it? I mean.
Well, they never should have. Like, they should have just been doing the passing thing and butting into each other and giving each other faces, and it just could have just kept going. And then finally, like, MJF loses it, say mid-April, perfect time, and there you go.
What's up,
Big
Rob?
Rob, what's up, bud?
I don't know. I think this is perfect because, of all the feuds you got going on here, this is going to go seamlessly into Swerve and Ricochet too, right? I feel like you have paths planned for these because I generally believe, and yes, I'm kind of leading, tipping my hat here a little bit. I definitely believe that the belt is coming off of Moxley in some fashion. Okay, I'm not saying who it's going to go to necessarily, but I don't think he's going to leave Los Angeles with that belt, and you got other people you need to put into that picture, i.e. Hangman and Swerve, because you could build up to All In, the two of them for the belt, bro.
Yeah,
bro. So
yeah, Big Rob. We had a few near deaths and deaths, which actually they actually ended up both in deaths. Like, Austin lost a fur baby, and then
my best friend's father passed away. Rest in peace, Ray.
That's where that's why we weren't here. So we're back.
Life happened, but we're back at it. So okay, so I said we're gonna go straight in. So then they go directly into Swerve and Ricochet contract signing. And if anybody has watched this show for any amount of time, we are firm believers in the standard truth that contract signings, nothing ever eventful happens ever at a wrestling contract signing, right, Jamie?
I
mean, it's a legality.
There's one thing I know in life is that every contract signing in wrestling is just boring. It's just they sign, they leave. There's nothing else.
It's like a wrestling wedding. It's just God. Why?
Yeah,
put it on TV?
Just so boring. Nothing ever happens. Ever happens.
I don't get the only thing I don't get. I don't get the whole Philadelphia Eagles thing with Ricochet. I mean,
he's a Philly fan.
Okay, sure. I mean, dude's from Kentucky, lives in Vegas, but whatever. I think it's actually deeper cut than that. I think it's because they won. It's why he's wearing it, right? I think the Chiefs won. He would want a Chiefs thing. I think he just was like trying to, and this is where I'll give him his props, right? He was really good in this entirety of this contract signing promo, right? And all of his promos, we've sung his praises for the last month, right? I don't know, man. It's just I'm not saying that he's destined to go past, Swerve here, because I think the writing feels pretty good that Swerve would be the man. If you hear my previous statement about Swerve and Hangman eventually kind of, congealing. Okay, Rob's saying Dynasty is in Philly. Just saying. All right, well, Rob's playing fortune teller over here for us. But no, it was really good. So you had Ricochet out here in his Eagles hat. You had Swerve out there in his Mass Effect jacket. So nerds left and right are going crazy, and dueling scissors at the end. But he did say he was going to have. He's getting some alterations done to Nana's robe, which we'll see on Sunday.
Yeah. I foresee that not going over too well. But the one thing, of course, go-home shows are very predictable, and they are very much a foreshadowing for what's not going to happen at the pay-per-view, typically. Swerve was left standing tall there, but what about the finish?
And then
so it's like, yeah.
It's good in that because it leaves you guessing, right? And I think that this feud, of all the feuds that they have here, this feud is probably the most ambiguous, right? I mean, they can go either way. I think they got a really good case because this is now for a number one contendership, right? Winner gets a title shot eventually, right? They move into number one contender. So there's some gravitas to it, and I don't think they could go wrong with either way.
I agree. I don't know if honestly, like, 3 weeks ago, I would have thought there's no way Ricochet's ready for that. But then here is Ricochet doing his best work, and it's like, it'd be fine.
Yeah, I mean, we all know the wrestling's always been there for him, and proof positive. We'll put a pin in that. We'll talk about that at the main event. So,
yeah,
and of course they follow that up. We'll talk about the Amazon Prime deal again. Yay, good, big love with that. And then they go right into the first of kind of what we were getting at to start with here. Just a bunch of fun, throw a shitload of people in the ring sort of matches throughout the night, right? 8-person tag, Ospreay, Orange Cassidy, Mark Briscoe, and Powerhouse Hobbs versus the Bad Apple Brian Keith and a bunch of Don Callis' family, right? You have the Murder Machines and Mark Davis. And dude. Well, she's not with WWE anymore, right? She got let go.
No, she's doing her own thing right now. I mean, that's one of the two things that Ricochet's going to be remembered for after Sunday.
That's a good point.
Announce her wife.
That's her wife. So fun 8-person tag, which lots of good action there. I like the mix up of commentators. I do want to say we dogged on Taz a lot, deservedly so, but I think you overcome that because you do have a good stable of commentators, and I like Riccaboni getting more airtime.
Yeah, Ian Riccaboni, the voice of ROH. Come on now.
Yeah, he's just so good, so good.
Come on now.
Good. So good. And you're not leaving everything on Excalibur's shoulders, right? Where he's got to talk 8,000 words a minute to get everything in. So, good fun match. It was definitely designed to be kind of an all-out showcase there. I do love the 10 punches, and then Orange Cassidy finished with the single punch in the corner. Count the 10, he counts the 1. Yay! But it's really a Will Ospreay beatdown in disguise all along. Because after the match, you just had everybody just murder the shit out of the rest of Ospreay's team, and then it's just the family beating down Ospreay. Out comes the protostar, Kyle Fletcher, and him and Mark Davis have a little standoff where Fletcher big boys Mark Davis a little. Of course, leads to Mark Davis showing his alliance, and then he sends him away, and they beat the shit out of him and do a vicious brain buster on a chair, and just building that heel for Fletcher as best they can.
Fletcher's great, man. Also, kudos to AEW for using the Grand Slam backdrop. I really love that big screen without the tunnels. I don't know. I did love the tunnels, right? But I think the tunnels are done now.
It's and we talked about this a few weeks ago, Jamie, with the alternative locations or the smaller venues they're doing. Maybe a different look is what they need, right? I thought it looked great. This theater was a fantastic size venue. I felt had really good feel to it, and that entrance, I feel that could be this generation's interest. I feel like you don't have to have the same thing you have year after year after year after year. Mix it up.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed it. I definitely thought this was a solid match. It's probably one of the better matches of the night, honestly. I love what they're doing with Kyle Fletcher. I've been on the Kyle Fletcher train forever, and it sucks he's gonna lose on Sunday now because of how that went down. As you know, foreshadowing, and as your pay-per-view champion, that's kind of an easy call if you ask me.
Well, apparently, remember, it has been foretold. It has been written in the book of time. Austin Reddick has called his shot a long time ago that this was the pay-per-view where he's taking that belt off you. We will see if that comes to fruition.
Hey, he called me on Sunday and goes, 7 days, and then hung up.
Awesome.
You know the reference. You're welcome. 7 days.
So there's not much else to, yeah. So you got that there. The Mark Davis thing, I think, is just kind of a, subterfuge. It is what it is. He's not turning on Fletcher. he's a backup player, but it was a good little kind of bit. So they're gonna be locked in a cage on Sunday. That'll be fun to see, and also what's gonna be fun to see, maybe even more fun. That's hard for me to say when I'm talking about a Will Ospreay cage match at the pay-per-view. Kenny Omega, Konosuke Takeshita. Little video promo we had for their one-on-one for surprise, Takeshita made it. He's going to be defending like we didn't see that coming. I don't like the way they set up that whole the tournament to face Kenny Omega for the championship. But what? Anyway,
it's very obvious what's going on here.
But we get it, and nice video package they did. They did several video packages throughout the night. I thought they all were really good. I think that their video production's been excellent. I like some of the camera work they've been doing. They've been doing the one camera follows a lot lately, which I think is good. But yeah. So you have that, and then immediately leads you into Wheeler Yuta taking on the last of Jon Moxley's people, because last week Claudio Castagnoli and Marina China Shafir get taken out with concertos. Big props to Willow.
Yes.
So here comes Wheeler Yuta coming in from the street, which is cool as fuck. Right through the front door into the arena to face Adam Copeland. I'm not calling him by what he prefers now. In a wrestling match, which ended with Cope getting the win. And then shaking his hand and telling him, this, big pause, is what respect feels like, and then leaves. What did you feel about the match, first of all?
Typical Cope match. I felt like, it's the old school WWE style, man. It had everything you'd want, like the recipe wise. Mm-hmm. It was a good match. I mean, Wheeler looked good. Both of them looked good. I liked the ending of it. I did like how, at the end, Mox came out and had, pushed Wheeler in the face a whole bunch of times, and Wheeler pushed him in the face and then walked off, and Mox comes charging after him like, you can't do that to me. I did enjoy that because it's setting up the cracks already in the Death Riders, and I think it's just a nice little piece because there's no way Mox comes out with that belt.
I don't think so. I don't think thematically, if he does, I don't know where else you take that belt with him after this, right? I mean, you've made this big long story, and the whole interesting angle here at the end of it is that he didn't take out Cope. Or he didn't take out Wheeler, excuse me. Moxley took Wheeler out, basically, of the picture, by disrespecting him. And maybe that's a mistake that Copeland didn't take out Wheeler, because who knows, right? I don't know. I feel like I'm just ready for them to move on from this and let Copeland have that belt for the minute and a half that he's going to hold that belt before somebody comes out to take it from him.
A certain Christian Cage.
I mean, that is the poetic justice, right? That makes the most sense, especially if you have potentially, I don't know, Swerve Strickland as your number one contender after Sunday. I mean, I feel like maybe that's too obvious. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it feels like it's just like right on the money, to be honest.
Okay, what's really on the money was perhaps a video promo of the year. Yes, I know it's only March, ladies and gentlemen. But my God, the Outrunners. The Outrunners training montage in preparation of their match against the Hurt Syndicate at the Spectrum in 1987. I mean, coming up this Sunday. I love how at the beginning it actually has that 1987 time step on the bottom of the 4-3 framed.
I mean, I've gone on so many times about how much I love the Outrunners, and it does suck that they're going to lose.
Yes.
I'm so glad they're getting their shot, and they are so over. They remind me a lot of what happened with the Acclaimed. People are just loving them, and they should.
Right. And I think in a manner of speaking, it's better that they don't win it, because then you can still love and cheer for them, cheer for the story. Because if they win it, kind of like the Acclaimed, where do we go now, right? You know? You had that, then you had MJF outside waiting for Heyman. Heyman pulls up in his ridiculous Longhorn adorned Rivian truck. I mean, the most oxymoronic thing
funny.
I've seen is, which it fits in a way. It fits the Hangman persona fantastic, right? You know, fully electric pickup truck with ridiculously large horns on it. Okay, cool, right? So they're going in the ring, which leads to a decoy MJF. And then MJF uses that to get the upper advantage, beats the shit out of Hangman with Jamie's favorite finishing move. And then he goes to light him on fire. And I kind of like the whole, because to be fair, MJF has a point in all of this. A really strong point, Jamie.
Okay.
So everybody's going, you know, the whole thing was, and that's what the shirt was referencing, you know, Hangman did nothing wrong. Hangman burned down a man's childhood home, right? The man who he drank his blood from in the middle of a match, right? You know, Hangman took out his best friend from wrestling ever again, right? Is he redeemable? Absolutely. He's a babyface. But the whole, he did nothing wrong? Nothing wrong, right? I think it's better to have, you know. So to be fair, MJF has a point.
He's done some despicable stuff too, man. Like, I don't know.
He's also owned it, right?
He has. I mean, but in fairness, like, Hanger's starting to own what he's doing too.
I know. But it does make for this good. And I hear what you're saying about drawing this out to the summertime. But I think this is one of those threads that, you know, much like Hangman's other big feud, right? Because you're never truly done with Hangman and Swerve, right? You could never be truly done with this, too. This could circle back a dozen times over the next 3, 4, 5 years. It'd still be just as good as it is right now.
Yeah, but you have Swerve, and I think this one just needs to be a one and done. That's why I wanted it to be a little bit longer.
Okay.
Personally.
All right. Well, he tries to set Hangman on fire, which, you know, then of course garnishes all the referee corps and 37 security guards, who then literally lift him and carry his ass out of the arena. The one time security does their job, right?
Yeah, literally the one time.
The only time. Quick movie promo for Queen of the Ring, Tony Storm's movie. Nice and fun little Tom Tony Storm bit. We'll get more into her in just a second, because the good stuff was coming. Then we had our one women's match of the night. Could have done two, but you had our one women's match with 4 women, so there's that, right? You had Chris Statlander and Thunder Rosa, and my God, thank you for using Thunder Rosa. Thank you for having her go back to her original music, because, yeah, I mean,
yeah, they almost Def Rebelled her.
Yeah, versus Penelope Ford and Megan Bain,
Belope.
right?
Belope.
And this is a fine match. You know, I don't think it was the best match we've seen of any of these 4 here. There was a couple disjointed moments throughout the match. The crowd was mostly into it, though. I feel like Thunder Rosa's definitely come a long way since she first got back off of her injury, right? I think that in the past month or so, she's really started to kind of look more comfortable in the ring. You know, you could tell those first few months back that she wasn't comfortable in what she was doing, and she definitely is a lot more comfortable. You know, just kind of like Penelope's clothes are very comfortable on her. My God, you talk about Julia, you're talking about Sky Bluety, you know. Jesus Christ, Penelope.
Okay, moving on quickly.
But yeah, anyway, sorry, I digress. What do you feel about what they're doing with the whole Megan Bayne thing here? Because they're not moving her into a picture. They're kind of keeping her arm's distance away from a title. I feel like that's good. But do you feel like she's kind of just getting mid-carded a little bit with this whole like team up with Penelope thing?
No, not at all. I think what they're doing with her makes a lot of sense. First off, is the most facial expression range she's shown in AEW tonight. So that
three
was
of them,
great.
I think,
Instead of
actually.
one face, yeah, three. But no, I think this makes a lot of sense. You get her in with some heavy hitters, so you are still not necessarily around a real title, but you are asserting your dominance around people who have won titles. So it makes sense, and then they can start moving her into a program with Mercedes or Mariah May after this.
I still feel like she needs a voice if she's going to do that. I mean, has she spoken yet?
No, she doesn't need to.
I know she doesn't need to, but I feel like she still needs some sort of voice manager. Yes, Stokely Hathaway. I know, right? It's the answer to everything.
It's always Stokes.
Somebody of that is somebody, right? Okay. So the end of Mercedes Moné promo, I really could care less. This match really just kind of popped off on nowhere. Even though we got a little Billy Starks cameo here a week ago on Collision, which gives me hope that is maybe Billy Starks moving to AEW. That's cool, right?
Needs to be Athena.
Well, Billy Starks would be the pathway to Athena, technically, if you think about it.
Yeah, but I mean, she keeps dogging on her that Athena will show up, and then maybe you'll finally get Athena to drop the ROH belt and move over to the main roster where she belongs. That's my opinion.
Hopefully, and nothing against Momo. It just the way that it just feels like they're checking the box here. Oh, she has a title. Just throw it on Revolution so we can get it over with, sort of thing.
Well, I mean, this thing was basically made at Wrestle Kingdom. Momo Wanatabe is phenomenal, and the problem is, and we've talked about this before. In the United States, people really don't know her stuff unless you watch Stardom. If you watch Stardom, then you know that she is a real deal and really damn good at wrestling. This is gonna be the best women's wrestling match of the night. I know we still have Mariah May and Tony on the card, but dude, those two women are top 5 wrestlers right now, period.
It's going to be a fantastic wrestling match, but we all know what the ending is going to be on it, or the outcome. Maybe not the ending, but we know the outcome's going to be, and therein lies my problem with the whole thing, right? You could have done more suspense with Momo. I thought that would have done her more justice. But anyway, that's me. It's me being old man grumpy here, so whatever. All right. We have to bear witness, because up next you had the best wrestler alive come out, and although he didn't get the chant he wanted to because it was god awful,
yes,
I just noticed tonight his pants have the Max, which is his name, in the Max as in the streaming service logo all over his pants.
Yes, they're great.
I just tonight noticed that. I don't know if that's happened before, but fantastic. Open challenge answered by Jay White. That's a mistake for Max, and get Jay White some good FaceTime on TV.
I mean, he also cut that promo putting over Cope too. So I don't know, man. The writing's on the wall.
I just don't feel like it is beyond time. What did you think about? Okay, let's back up for a second. How have you felt about Mariah May and sort of the disheveled, crazy person that she's been putting on in the past few weeks?
Love it.
Okay. I mean, Mariah May can do no harm. And sit down, record interview with Renee Paquette, which begins with her spitting on Tony Storm.
Yes. Well done.
I think going off the deep end, just crazy. To which Tony answers back. I had to jot this down because it was too damn good. You do not deserve the dignity of death. I sentence you to a lifetime of mediocrity. And then proceeds to go on a soliloquy about how she's going to be an eternal mid-carder until one day people are going to be like, Mariah May, I remember her. Wasn't you know? I mean the juxtaposition that they put on here with this, because I think we've all said enough about how much we feel like they're just running back this and doesn't, they changed the title belt. They brought back timeless Tony Storm to do something different. But this is the payoff, because this is still the same thing they've been doing now for a year between these two women, but different and good.
I like it. I like it a lot. I think it is just enough off of what they have been doing to make it interesting, yet still very similar, like to your point, that it feels comfortable there too. So it's like, it's a nice, I know this match is gonna be great. I kind of hope Mariah wins it right back. I think that'd just be a lot of fun, to make Tony have a really short reign.
That would be poetic. They're not going to do that.
No, they're not.
I think, though, what they've done is they give some gravitas to the Mariah character to give her somewhere to go once they're finally done with Mariah and Tony, right? Tony can move in a program with whoever they need to, and they can make it work. Not a problem, right? We all have confidence in that. But Mariah, they built into a big star. They got to see if it can have its own legs. But I feel like they've given her enough depth, first with the heel turn, then with the big bitch angle, and now with this kind of like disheveled craziness, that she has. I feel like they've given her enough legs to stand on her own, sans Tony. So,
yeah. I love to see her getting to something with Mercedes, to be honest with you.
I think that
would be fun.
I think that'd be a good move. And you talk a lot about Athena being the one. I kind of like the idea of Mariah being the one to move down there, right? Like,
yeah,
she can't get off the monkey off her bat of Tony Storm. So then she kind of shifts her focus to Mercedes. Mercedes is dismissive of her. It's like, you can't even beat Tony. Why do you think you have a shot at me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it gives her a chance to turn kind of face, which people want to cheer for her. All right, last thing. Main event. Kind of a mixture of two matches. So you've got Brody King and Kazuchika Okada going to go off. That match might just steal the show too. Let's be honest. That's going to be the surprise. Like, this is an amazing match.
Yeah, because I thought it was supposed to be Buddy.
I don't know if Buddy got hurt or what.
Yeah, or they're like wanting to push that one out a little bit.
Could be.
I don't know.
Could be. Maybe Buddy's the one to do it, but you got, I don't know. Well, they're doing Brody King and Kazuchika Okada. The backstage stuff they did this past week was fantastic. With Okada kept interrupting the Hounds of Hell, and then jumps Brody King, which of course leads to the match booking. So you have kind of a mixed tag team. So you've got Brody King and Swerve versus Ricochet and Okada, and oh my God. I didn't have Ricochet and Okada best tag team ever on my bingo card, but now I do.
I want more in my life. I do know that. I definitely know that. Like,
dude.
Like, wow. Wow. And honestly, Brody and Swerve were a lot of fun too.
Brody and Swerve. But this is the best way. This is the way you kind of end the go home, right? You got two different matches mixed into one random tag team, a lot of fun, a lot of good spots. Each of the four guys gets their own like little moment in the match. It's been, just really good. It ends to your point, which you said earlier, talking about Swerve and Ricochet. Ricochet gets dirty, uses the belt to get the victory over Swerve.
Yeah. Perfect.
So does that
Perfect.
So in your book, is that your typical go home? You won and now you're going to lose on Sunday moment?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
100%. Like 1,000,000%. Ricochet is losing.
I tend to agree with you there, So, I mean, that's a go home show. This is like the most go home shows they've done in a long time, and and that's not to say a bad thing about it.
Yeah, no, it was a solid go home. Was it their best go home? Absolutely not. Was it one of their better ones? No. Was it one of their worst ones? No. It was just solid. Like, like it was middle of last year level. Like, I thought one of their best go homes of all time was the one right before Revolution last year.
Yeah.
That one was fire.
I mean, that had
because they had Sting. That was Sting's final hurrah.
Sting's final go at it. I mean, so we shall see. I feel like they're setting Revolution up. Revolution's already set up. This is weird. So we say this a lot about AEW pay-per-views, but this one especially too. It's like it really doesn't need any go home, any pop, any press because what they have on the card. You got Mox versus Cope for the AEW title. Okay, we've talked about that, right? But then you've got Swerve versus Ricochet for number one contender. Okay, Will Ospreay versus Kyle Fletcher in a steel fucking cage. Yes, please. Right? You got Okada versus Brody King. We just talked about. You got Mercedes versus Momo Watanabe. Tony Storm and Mariah May running it back for the women's championship. You've got Kenny Omega versus Konosuke Takeshita. Pour into my eyeballs, right?
Yes, please.
You got Outrunners versus Hurt Syndicate for the tag team championship. And you even got Big Boom AJ on the buy-in again. Oh my god. I still don't understand his shtick, and I know YouTube channel. I get it. YouTube channel, Costco food reviews with his kids. I do weird. I get it. I just don't get it.
he brings a lot of eyeballs.
I just don't understand why.
It's dumb, but people love it, man. People love it.
And here's the thing that gets me. They talk about it's Costco, like people. When first I didn't know who it is. Well, him and his kids, they review foods. The Costco food court food. I go, Costco. There's like 4 items on that menu.
Yeah.
You got a hot dog, pizza, cheese bake, and that's about it. Thank you. Rob doesn't get them either. We're not the right demographic, 100%.
I don't get it either.
Do you girls watch any of that shit?
Oh yeah, they've watched a few of them. I mean, it's like more on TikTok and stuff like that. But yeah,
okay,
which is still around.
All right, so, what are you most excited for the pay-per-view?
I mean, it'd be very easy for me to say Ospreay Fletcher 3, but I'm not gonna say that. No,
yeah.
I honestly think the one thing I am most excited for is gotta be Swerve and Ricochet, just because the way the storytelling's been on that has just been perfect, in my opinion. And I don't see how that can't be the creme de la creme of this. I mean, I'm hopeful that they do the right thing and take the belt off Mox and give it to Christian Cage, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they should do, 100%. I feel like, and I've already kind of hinted at this, but I think it's also going to open the show. I'm just really amped to see Omega Takeshita.
Oh yeah, I mean, number 2 or 3.
Well, it'd be one-on-one. It'd be their second one in America. They did face off over in Japan when he was still post Young Boy stage, but really. 2, I'm excited to see that for a multitude of reasons, and I think most of them are about Kenny Omega returning to top level. I think getting him with a belt, right? We can get past he just got back. He his intestines sewed together. Give me give me Kenny by God Omega. I don't need all the other stuff, right? That's what I need. I need that Kenny Omega back, right? I think this is the match that does that. Moving on from post-injury Omega to just Kenny Omega, the cleaner, the man.
That's a good one. I mean, that's also. I feel like that's low hanging fruit.
I mean, I think a lot of these are low hanging fruit.
That's fair.
I mean, we all know what the match tonight is going to be. It's going to be Ospreay versus Fletcher, that fucking steel cage, right?
Yeah.
We already know.
Duh.
That's
why we're not
fruit
picking
there
it.
could possibly be, All right, so Rob says if Moxley loses, which he should. He agrees with us here. It'll be the nail in the coffin of the fiasco that the Death Riders was. Let's go with that. What do you think about that statement? Do you think Moxley
I
losing
think they'll still be around. I feel like it gives them more legs without the belt.
I agree with what Austin had said too about this, that gimmick doesn't need the belt to do its thing. And in a way, him losing the belt could be, like you said, even more apropos, right? Especially depending on this whole Yuta thing, right? Could be the chase for Yuta. Maybe this is where we have that random occurrence, that random appearance of Bryan Danielson showing up here, right? Because he's retired from everyday competition. He's going to make an appearance at some pay-per-view sometime this year, right?
Yeah.
And all the stuff that Yuta is doing with copying his entire moveset, including cattle mutilation, which is the best name of a move ever, still to this day.
Still to this day, probably the best one ever.
So all right, we respectfully disagree with that, Rob. I think it's not necessarily because he needs the title to go on. I feel like they can do better things without that title. So
yeah, I think it just make it. Just freeze him. It's like Agent Smith. For Neo.
I was once blind and now I can see. It's all thanks to you, Mr. Anderson.
Or it's Ultron. Whatever. No strings.
Comic Ultron or movie Ultron?
Movie Ultron.
Okay, well, Comic Ultron's better. So,
well, duh. Yeah, but
I don't think movie Ultron
right.
is that bad. All right. So, Revolution is this Sunday. We will have our picks, and next week we are going to give you the winner of that prestigious title that Jamie is currently holding. Will he retain it for what is unbearably, reign of 4 straight, or will the prophecy of Reddick come true? Or will I'm finishing with the best, man. Or will out of effing nowhere, will the J Money Club reemerge in the turn that nobody saw coming but everybody wants? Will that happen?
Or if you're saving the best for last, it could easily be my progeny, my seed, reclaiming her spot on the top of the mountain.
You should have said birthright. That would have been the proper word to use there.
That is. I mean,
well, we shall see. Here. Are we gonna have Matt involved again?
Maybe we'll see. We'll see if he's down.
If he's down, okay. That was interesting. I still need, because if so, I still need to get him recruited to the J Money Club, because that would be the funniest goddamn thing ever if I could do that. Anyway, all right. So Rob wanted to chime in and elaborate. So he said he thinks that the Death Riders was born for a purpose. That purpose maybe didn't come to realization, and now they'll scramble for a plan B. I think I agree with that. At its heart, I feel like, again, we've all three of us have said this, that the detriment of what the Death Riders gimmick is they gave him the belt like immediately, right? therein lies the problem, right? You talk about what their ethos is. Well, what does the belt have to do with that, right? Considering they've dismantled the belt and its remnants are in that briefcase. I'm still sticking by that 100%. This is how we get a new belt. I promise you.
Yeah.
I
just love
either
that
way,
belt, though.
Either way, our belts will be up for grabs. So we shall see next week who gets it. Also, we have something else to talk about next week because a week from Friday marks the return of wrestling in Kansas City. Ladies and gentlemen, Fountain City Pros 2025 season officially opens up at the Ball Event Center down there in Olathe, Kansas on Olathe Medical Center campus for Light It Up Dos.
Perfect to say, call it Dos, too, because they got Fuego del Sol making his Fountain City debut next Friday.
We got several debuts going on there. You also have Camaro Jackson defending the Fountain City title against Sam Stackhouse of GCW fame. That's going to be a meat-fueled match right there. Look out.
100%.
Look out. Look at meat chance left and right. Fuego del Sol is going up against Luke Langley. You've got little Anakin Murphy. You do so much better than I do. Going up against Jake Warhorse Parnell. Heidi Howitzer, our near and dear favorite Heidi Howitzer, going up against Ashlyn Alexander. And the only other match that has been announced thus far is Only Friends versus the Premier. A little tag team wrestling, Kansas City.
A little tag team wrestling.
And continuing in the trend as well, we will be doing the pre-show before the show. So tune in here on our YouTube. Also, you can tune into Fountain City's socials to watch the pre-show. Doors open at 6. First bell is at 7. We'll go on before that, 5:30. I don't know. Something like that, right? So definitely, if you're in the Kansas City area, tickets are still available. Front row are sold out, okay? But tickets are available for Light It Up 2. It's going to be a great weekend. It's not going to be this blizzard bullshit we had this morning. It's going to be like 70 degrees all next week. So it's wrestling season. Let's go, man. All right.
It's going to be great. Cannot wait. Yes.
Are you ready? Yeah. Are you ready for live professional wrestling?
It's been a minute. Also, I don't know if you saw GCW's come to Kansas City.
I didn't see that. What? When?
Yeah, GCW is coming to Kansas City. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is officially coming. Let me pull it up. June 22nd at the Truman.
Woo! At the Truman?
At the Truman.
Oh, you know where we're going to be June 22nd. Are you going to be in town that weekend?
Oh, Megan will be in town for sure.
Okay.
June 22nd. I have a tournament that weekend. But that's a Sunday, so you never know. Depending on what time it is, that should be okay.
Sunday's show is going to be at least
5. It's
at 5. At least afternoon. Oh, it's 5 o'clock is what it says.
Yeah.
Okay. You should be able to make it 100%. And it's at the Truman, so no matter where you are in the Metro at that tournament, you should have an easy path to get there. Rob's going to be there. All right.
Yeah, it's going to be it's the Kansas City Metro Championship, so I'll be local.
Okay.
No going out of town for me.
So we'll be at that GCW in Kansas City. It's about time. We've been clamoring for that for years now. Oh,
how have you not seen that? Do you not get on the Twitters? I
try to stay off of Twitter, especially with everything that's been going on lately, you know, outside of the world. I try to disconnect with social media as much as possible right now. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I did get on social media, though, quite a bit after Sunday because what happened up there in Toronto.
Yeah, the Elimination Chamber and a couple big shocks.
Mhm.
Jade Cargill came back and attacked Naomi. I called that. Not gonna say that I didn't call it. I 100% called that. So she showed up, and then we had the decision from Cody on if he was gonna sell his soul to The Rock, and he promptly told The Rock to go fuck himself. And a hug from John Cena, and lo and behold, John Cena turned heel. Now, JJ,
Yes,
a
sir.
lot of people online are trying to say this is the greatest heel turn of all time. How do you feel about that statement, and
All right.
are they correct?
It's funny you should say that. First of all, kudos to John Cena. He'd been wanting to do a heel turn for 10 years. They had everything worked out, and also never pulled the trigger in the past. Giving him a heel turn before he retires, fantastic, right? Is this the greatest heel turn of all time? And I wanted to direct your attention to one thing I did see on Twitter this past Sunday. It's from our friends over at Wrestling Inc. Okay? Or Wrestling News, not Inc. Sorry, Wrestling News. I'm sorry. They put up their graphic that had John Cena on one side and Hulk Hogan Bash at the Beach 96 on the other. Said which one was the better heel turn? Because the answer is unequivocally Hulk Hogan is the greatest heel turn of all time. I feel like this is definitely a contender. Okay, I feel like, especially with the way that WWE has been, right? And I love all the memes that have been put out there about John Cena, fuck them kids, and all that stuff. Talking about the Make-A-Wish stuff and everything. But without that, because that move, no matter what you think of the piece of shit that is Hulk Hogan today, because he is, okay, 1,000%, but that move at that time is what really launched the Monday Night Wars, which gave us the Attitude Era, which led to, that's kind of like the Led Zeppelin, the Beatles for modern day rock and metal music, right? Without that, you don't have all this shit that we have today, in essence, right? So that is the greatest heel turn of all time, and I will die on that hill. What do you say?
I think John Cena turning heel is the greatest heel turn of all time if it was 5 years ago.
Oh, okay.
If it was 5 years ago in prime John Cena land, yeah, greatest of all time.
Because he's on his way done with out of wrestling.
He's in his farewell tour. We already know he's leaving. Yeah. So, that's the piece. And again, I am biased because I am older and I have lived through the greatest heel turns of all time. I wouldn't even say this is in the top 3.
Okay.
Hogan's obviously number 1.
I have an
idea. If anybody tries to say anything otherwise, you're an idiot. I'm sorry.
Sorry. Hot take.
You aren't a real, you do not understand Hulkamania. And I think that's the thing. You're ignorant to what he was. I'll say it that way. Maybe you weren't an idiot. You're just ignorant to what he was. Stone Cold selling out and going corporate was a big, big, big deal when it happened. That was one of the greatest heel turns of all time.
And you're going to put in there the heel turn that told me what heel turns were when I was a child. I know it's near and dear to your heart as well. Shawn Michaels sweet chin musicking Mario Jannetty through a plate glass window in Brutus's barbershop, right? I didn't know what a heel turn was until that happened. That defined a heel turn with me until Hogan.
Yeah, I mean, that one's my number 3, obviously, for obvious reasons. Then
Eddie turning on Mysterio, 100%.
Eddie turning on Mysterio was excellent. The turn on Randy Orton by Evolution was great.
Oh yeah.
But they're all heels already, so
Yeah, that wasn't. See,
that
there's
wasn't a heel
shocking.
turn, right? It was
See,
just
and
them
that's
turning. They went more heel on him. They made him babyface. It was the opposite.
and that's kind of why And you said talk about Stone Cold, and I feel similarly to corporate Stone Cold as I do to Evolution. Thumbs downing Randy Orton, right? Because Stone Cold was so much in his own bubble. It was Stone Cold. He was the anti-hero when he was a face, right? Him turning corporate was shocking, but I don't feel of it like in the same breath the heel turn as like Hogan or Mario Jannetty. Or I'd even say this, even though yes, it was 5 years too late. It's still John Cena, hustle, loyalty, respect, turning heel.
Yeah. Oh no. There's just so many. Hell, Jericho turning on Shawn Michaels is a great one too.
That wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. But I'm trying to think of anything. Here's the thing is, because I think we've lived through such great ones throughout history, right? To the point where we're almost like expecting it. Like when we got together and when we still were doing like watching pay-per-views live together, right? At Jamie's basement, literally where he's sitting right now. We'd be sitting there like, oh, here comes the turn. Here comes the turn, right? We're waiting for it, right? I think that's the part I think that Cena did get right. Is that even though you kind of saw it was coming, right? If you really listen to his post-Rumble media blitz, right? And what he did prior to Elimination Chamber to get in there without having to even validate himself to be in the match, right? Kind of the way that he jumped and capitalized as soon as Seth curb stomped CM Punk to get the win, right? He did a lot of heel-ish things. It still was John Cena turning heel. But those ones that we talked about that defined what heel turns were, I mean, like I said, we were children when Margin got kicked through the plate glass window. And it was one of those that shook you because you didn't no idea what's coming on. People, like, if you go back and watch Bash at the Beach, you see the amount of trash being thrown in the ring at the vitriol from the fans.
So good.
Oh, it was amazing, So I feel it's just a different world, and we've almost become desensitized to it. Because I can't think of any modern heel turns that are up there, really, when you think about it.
No. I think everybody's wanting to make this one the number one just because it's Cena. But 5 years ago, Cena, if this happened, hell yeah. I would probably put it as the greatest heel turn of all time.
Yeah. And as calculated as WWE is, that just fits their bill. Like they should have turned Roman Reigns heel 2 years earlier, right? Same thing.
Yeah, but they turned Seth first, which I thought was also great.
Yeah, the Seth turn was really good. I will say that. Seth turn was good. Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, man. Like, I could talk about this all day long about how this was not the best. Was it really good? And was it executed to perfection? Oh,
yeah.
Hell yeah.
Let's go with that because,
perfect.
I mean, this is sign pointing season, Jamie.
It is. I was playing Chucky today.
Somebody on one of the Discord channels I'm on got a kick out of that because he rolled off my tongue like nothing. I go, of course, it's sign pointing season. They go, what is that? Oh, WrestleMania. What's the sign? And laughed for hours. Hey, the stuff they got going into WrestleMania. Okay, so you had Bianca Belair win the Elimination Chamber. Only to them be sitting ringside this past week as Rhea Ripley loses her title to Io Sky. Big props for Io. But
so you have Io and Bianca Belair right now.
And Bianca.
It's gonna be a triple threat. There's no way Rhea's not getting in there.
We gotta get Rhea somehow at Mania, and having her not in a title match, especially considering the promo she cut later. Did you see the promo she did afterwards?
Oh, it was perfect,
bro.
right?
best
She's so
promo.
great.
She's so good. I don't know. Io and Bianca had such a banger up in there when Io was the NXT Women's Champion and Bianca was just coming up, right? Oh, my heart wants to see that, but I'm with you there. They're going to do something with that. They've also been setting up a lot of great stuff in NXT. I mean, we got coming up the next, was it this weekend, I think, is NXT, or is it next week? Their next, premium event they have. They've got Julia versus Stephanie Vacour, title versus title, right? Which has got to end in a DQ, of course, right? There's no way.
They're unifying.
You think about unify? Okay. What, under Julia? Oh, Vacour. Oh God,
she's more over than Julia right now.
She's been so goddamn good. I mean, her in the Rumble, she was fantastic in the Rumble. We everybody, if you watch the same amount of time, you know we were big stands of Stephanie Vacour, right? But my God, she's been killing it there. I
mean, people love her. She translates well.
Julia,
honestly, like, hot take, man. Julia just hasn't hit hard with the American fans as we were all hoping.
Well, I don't feel
she's
like
good, but she's not like the others.
Well, here's my take on it, and I found it interesting. I did see some news, a tidbit that came out earlier today that said that Stephanie was actually given the choice to go directly to the main roster or go to NXT. She chose to go to NXT, which I find interesting. That she got the choice to do what she wanted, right? I think Triple H and everybody recognizes how big of a star she can be. That's kind of why, right? I feel like it's just the modern NXT. Sean's doing a great job with stuff. I definitely believe that. But it's not necessarily set up for the same type of success the way it was when you had Kyrie and you had Io and you had Asuka in the old black and gold NXT, right?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you're just plugging Julia, who's from that mold, into this NXT, and I don't know. I think that she's still over enough, right? I just don't think. I don't know if it's them not doing it right, or maybe she's just not a good fit with the people that are around her. But part of me just wonders if she would have been better going to AEW.
So here's the thing. And this is going to probably ruffle your feathers, because I know you're a big Julia stan.
Yep, I sure am.
She's boring. Plain and simple. She does a boring Japanese strong style. Io, high flyer. That's sell sizzle, baby. That's what everybody loves.
Yeah.
Kyrie, insane elbow.
High flyer too.
Like,
yeah.
High flyer. Oh, there's two there. Then you have Asuka. Asuka has got more charisma in her pinky than 95% of people in this entire earth.
Well, that's a very simple statement to say because it's true. Yes.
Then you have Julia. Very good wrestler. Very good. Very beautiful. Not a high flyer. She's a striker. That doesn't translate very well in the United States, especially when you don't have the right type of dance partner.
True.
Now, she is Sheeta-esque. Sheeta's great in AEW, but they use her well. They understand the Japanese style, and the fans over there appreciate the Japanese style. NXT and WWE fans truly don't appreciate Japanese strong style like others do. No fault of her own, but she's boring. She is. She's slow. She's methodical. She hits hard. She doesn't sell. It's just, that's the style. I know it. You know it. We both love it. We love that style.
You love it especially, you know.
It doesn't translate. You know, she needs to freshen it up a little bit. I think she needs to go to the WWE way and not just her way. I think that will get her over, because like she's over just because of her name, but not her style, and that's why she hasn't garnered more fans, in my opinion.
Yeah,
that's my opinion.
That's why I think you think that Stephanie's 70s, lucha style, right? Which I think is an easier transition to WWE type of wrestling.
It also doesn't hurt that she's Hispanic, and she's from lucha. People, we all know Hispanic folks love wrestling just as much as we do. That's why I love people so much. I love my luchas too. Like we dogs, but it's one of those things. Like they love it, and she brings that innate fan base, and she does all the things that excite the American populace, and plus they're used to her style. Luchas have been a part of the United States for forever, so they're used to what she does.
Yeah, that's an easier translation to the AEW or the WWE style of wrestling is lucha, right?
100%.
And it's just kind of the same way where you have like British, wrestlers that come over and they take a while to kind of get their get enthralled into the WWE world, right? Like Pete Dunne took a bit before people, because they're just like, okay, all right, you loved it from day one, right? You're like, this man's amazing, but a lot of people were just kind of like dead on Pete Dunne until they realized how awesome he was. But he also had to transition himself from that British strong style to.
He'll get there, and Julia will be a star. Do not like, and to say she's not a star is ignorant of me, because she is a star. It's just her star's not growing. I think
right now Vakur is a bigger star than her, is what you're saying.
By far and away.
I hear that. I think they're both great. I think both good. I think they're both deemed to have a really good path forward. In WWE, however they want to do with this, especially when you consider some of the dance partners. If you look in the future going forward, yes, you've got Bianca and you've got Liv and you got Rhea and you got all them, right? We can think of that next kind of wave of women that you're going to have. Roxanne fits in that bill there. Talking about the future, right? I think Roxanne, she's built out of that AJ Lee kind of, style, and it's just, she's got it. She's got that it. She had it when she was in ROH. She's always had that it. Right.
Yep.
And then you got Jordynne Grace now over there. I think this is the best Jordynne Grace has been. She's done amazing things in TNA, but she could only carry that division so far, right? Especially considering the partners that she had around them there. And TNA's late in her term, questionable women's booking moves. We'll just put it at that. Okay.
Check Tessa Blanchard.
I didn't want to speak the name, but yes, that.
Yes, she is Voldemort. Well said.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I used to be a giant fan of her back in the day before we all found out who she really was, right? And because of the amazing stuff they did. Her and Brian Cage had a feud going on and it was amazing, right? And then oh, wait, but no, not back again. Oh, nope, even further. Okay, all right. And yeah.
I mean, it is going to sound bad, but it's kind of nice to know that not just men are pieces of shit in wrestling,
I know.
Equal rights,
It's the most ironically funny thing too, because every time she tries to like go forward and be positive, she eventually does something that's equally as bad as what she did before, and it's just like, it's you, obviously. It wasn't just it's after one. Okay, you always did the what's the 1, 2, 3 thing. You always would do like one's an anomaly.
Two. So one's an anomaly. 2 is a coincidence. 3 is a pattern.
3 is a pattern. And now we're past that. We're in. But Jordynne Grace, I think you fit in this with her as well. Like I said, so Jordynne Grace is kind of the best that she's been. I think she really found her. I think when she really got back into bodybuilding too, she found that self-confidence, that she was getting dogged a ton for her physique for so many years, unjustifiably so, right? 1,000%. And I think that she's gotten back and just having a good support staff around her with her husband and her that she has gotten into a good place, and it shows with the persona she puts on the screen. So Jordynne Grace, Stephanie Vakur, Julia, you got Roxanne. I think you got a real good core of women for the future. And you got other ones that are going to be good players too. I really like JC Jane. I think she has a good supporting cast role for a long time. I think she could be a quality component to the women's division long term, right? She's not going to be like a champion of champions, but you don't need that. You need some players in there as well. And, I feel like they've set up for good success for the future as they move forward down the road.
Agreed.
Also, let's see what else is going on. You have yep. So WrestleMania is shaping up. It's gonna be fantastic. It's gonna be really good this year, like it always is. So
Yep.
So sign point season in full effect. All right. So we got next Friday we have Fountain City Pro. This weekend is Revolution. We will have our picks in, and then we'll talk more about sign pointing season as we move forward. Jamie, did you have anything else this Ash Wednesday?
No. Hopefully everybody gave up something good. I've tried to give up cussing, so we'll see how this goes. You notice I haven't cussed once today.
I have not given up cussing, if you've noticed that. I'm not Catholic.
That is very difficult, ladies and gentlemen. I
wasn't raised Catholic, so I'm not putting up with that bullshit. I tried giving up stuff a few times as kids, and I was like, whatever.
Hey, but sacrifice for us. I can sacrifice for him.
So I will try to get you to cuss for sure. A lot over the next month.
Don't worry. Something will get me hot and bothered about this pay-per-view, and I'll get going. Don't you worry. I'm just trying to make it 2 weeks.
Well, we'll have to see here. So pay-per-view on Amazon this weekend. So we'll be back next week. Hopefully Austin will be with us as well. Again, much love and prayers to Austin Reddick and Heidi Howitzer. Send them your love, send them your thoughts. If this is your first time here, send us some love and thoughts. Hit that subscribe button down below. Give us a big thumbs up. Hit a like button as well. And we do this every week. Mostly. I say we missed one last week, but we're here every week. Approximately a half hour after Dynamite ends. Come chill, hang out with us. We'll be back next week, same bat time, same bat channel. Jamie, take us home, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not down until Spotfest, I got 5 words for you. Walking in, walking out, champ.
No, not this time.
It's true. It's true. It's damn true.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
Peace.